tuning in. I'm life coach Savannah Rose Johnson, or Coach Savvy, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my background as a life coach and how my history in modeling has led me into life coaching. I know those two don't really seem quite related, but bear with me, I'll explain to you how I got started. I started modeling when I was about the age of 13 and started heavily pursuing it as a career when I think I was around 15 or 16. And so when I was 16, I signed with my first agency, and I was at my first agency for about 6 months, and then I went to a different agency and was with them for about 6 months, and then my third and final agency I was with for about a year and a half. So I'm not going to mention any names or anything like that, because that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about how being in the industry made me who I am today and how it's helped me to help other people. Modeling has a pretty notorious reputation for just having so much pressure on the models to be pencil thin and to be like mannequins that can't actually talk or have a voice. And this is something that I definitely experienced in my own time as a model. And I know that my situation is not the same as everybody else's, and I'm not deeming modeling as evil or bad, because it definitely serves a purpose in our culture. But my own personal experience with modeling and how it really influenced and impacted my psyche and my belief systems and my values and my body image and my self-worth is something that I think needs to be talked about. So growing up, I got told a lot of times, since I was tall and skinny, that, wow, you're so pretty, you should be a model, or you look like a model. And that just kind of was in my mind as, okay, I should do this. And so I started doing it, and actually I really enjoyed it for the artistic side of kind of like acting, where I got to be a different person every day, and it got me out of my hometown, and I got to explore the city and meet all these amazing people and have lots of amazing collaborations. So in the long run, I'm very thankful for my time in the industry and what it taught me about networking and people skills and time management and schedules, and it taught me so much. But the kind of dark side of the industry is that it came down to just the very damaging side effects of being told every week you need to drop 5 pounds, or you need to be this kind of size and then you can get work. That weighed on me so much as a 17, 18, 19-year-old girl. It was just growing up and feeling like I was never enough, and that I always needed to change something about myself, and that I was too bold or too loud or too this. And then I got a diva reputation, because when someone would try to do something I didn't like, I would stand up for myself and I'd be like, no, that's not okay. Even on one of the most prominent modeling agency websites, it has a description that as a blank blank model, you are a human mannequin. And that is something that I didn't want to wear. I was like, no, I'm very smart and I have a brain, and that's kind of what led me to having the Blonde Who Loves Brains brand right now. Something I didn't like about the industry were all the assumptions that were made about my character, especially because I was doing lingerie and bikini and boudoir, and that was something that I enjoyed doing, that I was comfortable with, that it made me feel free. It made me just own my feminine side and my womanhood. But then I had just a whole mix of other things that came my way with that, just mostly negative. Kitty. So my history in modeling, when I was finished with the industry, I deleted my social media for about 9 or 10 months, because I just didn't know who I was. And I just, for so long, had been posting what my agents would tell me to post or take down what they didn't like, or I was always trying to market this brand, this image of what I was trying to sell of myself that didn't ever really feel like my genuine identity. It was definitely a part of my identity, a side of myself that I was embracing, but I just felt like I was short-sticking myself as a whole person, because no one ever got to really know the brain inside of me and my personality, and it was just really destructive. So when I finished modeling, I just felt like that was what made me have value at the time, and that's what made me have worth, was people looking at me and admiring me, but they weren't ever admiring the whole Savannah. They were always just looking at my looks, and that's what my value is based off of. And I just was so tired of people telling me, you need to cover up more, oh, you need to show more, you need to look this kind of way, oh, now you're too skinny, oh, but whoa, watch out, you're gonna be getting too big. And it was just so much. And I will never forget that my first meeting with my first agency, I had my initial meeting with my agent, and she was kind of 50-50 on me. And then basically I had to do a photo shoot in order to see how I tested in front of the camera. And I did that, killed it, of course. It was great. And even the photographer loved me and really advocated for me, for the agency to sign me. But then I thought everything was fine and good. I was like, yes, I'm my agency, let's go. But then that's kind of when things took a whole turn, where I got a phone call from her, and because I was getting kind of frustrated with how long it was taking me to end up on the website and start getting work. And basically I just got a phone call from her that said, your body is too soft, even though I was 130, like 130 pounds, 5'9", that's like not very soft. But she said I looked too soft and that my nose was super big and that I needed to either consider a nose job or I needed to lose 15 pounds in order for my body to be where it needed to be to distract from my face. I wish that I were joking. That's actually what she said to me. So as a 17, 18-year-old girl, that's what I carried with me every day, was looking in the mirror, hating my nose, seeing it as a problem, calculating how much a nose job would cost. And then of course became very unhealthy in my eating habits, was just calorie counting. It was like an accomplishment if I didn't eat a whole lot that day, because it was getting me to where I thought I needed to be. Doing that extreme measures was what I thought I needed to do in order to be enough to live my dream. But when I kept getting down and down and down weight, every single time it was drop 5 more pounds, drop 5 more pounds. And I realized it's just this vicious cycle. And then with my second agency, I had to cut and color my hair to this just like god awful unnatural blonde with bangs. No, never again. That was not cute, but I did it because I thought that's what I needed to do. That's who I needed to be. And it was never ever a true depiction of myself. It was always somebody telling me this is what you need to be and then you'll be good enough. But it never was good enough, and I just kept depleting myself every time it happened, every time I had to change something else. It was just, I was hurting myself in the long run because it wasn't who I really was. At that second agency, I just got so fed up with the politicking and the just nonsense and tomfoolery, because there was just so much drama involved with that agency and just he said, she said, and I was like, no, I'm not getting enough work for this to be worthwhile. So I went freelance for a little bit, and then with my third agency, it was good, but it was just so much pressure to be that hot girl, that Instagram model that will take off all her clothes, and that was what I needed to do in order to be good enough again. And boudoir kind of style, like I enjoyed that, but at the same time, I hated all the negative attention and interpretations of my personality that people got from that. Like people assumed the worst, assumed parts of my character that weren't true, assumed that when they met me in person that I would be a certain kind of way or a certain kind of person, I'd be okay with certain things that I wasn't. And it led to just a lot of hurt and just feeling ashamed for who I am. And I always wondering if people actually wanted to work with me because I was a good model. So I was okay with the Winnie the Pooh situation every now and again, but it just got to be exhausting and just really depleting because I just felt like I couldn't trust anyone because I just felt like they were all trying to get at me and I wasn't into that. So I just ended up saying like, I'm done with this, I can't do this anymore. And I still model to this day a bit, but it's only with people that I've worked with before that I trust, that it's still fun, because it's a shame that that creative expression of mine got stifled so much because I love getting into those characters and letting that side of my personality flow. And but it definitely came with a price. How this ties into my coaching is that through all of it, I remember just hating how I looked, hating how my hair was, hating all this stuff about me, but I realized it wasn't actually me. It was all what people were trying to push onto me. And at the end of the day, I realized that it does not matter what other people think. It just really doesn't. Like, I was the one that had to be cutting my hair and paying for it and wearing certain kind of things, and at the end of the day, it was all on my body, it was all my hair, it was all this, that, and the other. And when I quit modeling, I just was at a complete loss. I just did not know myself anymore. I didn't know what to post on Instagram anymore. If I posted something that reflected my true personality, I felt like it wasn't good enough because it would only get a fraction of the likes. And I just hated that. I just knew that I was worth more than my latest Calvin Klein underwear, and it really irked me. My priority with coaching is working on what's inside of people. That's another thing too, is with modeling and with all these aesthetically blessed and genetically blessed people, that so many of them were just so terrible inside and so ugly inside and just would be so mean and diva-ish and snobby. And I was like, listen, at the end of the day, we all look like crap. Like, we all get the flu, we all are human beings, and I just hated that modeling sucked out the humanity sometimes with people. I think it's getting a lot better with diversity and equal representation, and you're seeing that a lot more everywhere, but it's gonna have to take a long way to get to where I think it needs to be. And with coaching, I express so much about exploring your values and what's important to you and how you want those values to lead your decisions in life, and how it doesn't matter what society says or what's trendy or anything like that. It's what you feel good with at the end of the day. And just the pressure all the time with being a model and wearing that title and having all my pictures online be photoshopped and people seeing me in person and being like, what, you don't have perfect skin? I'm like, no, I don't. Like, because what you see online isn't real. It's not. So by the end of it, I just needed authenticity. I needed to be my authentic self. I needed to be doing work that I could put my heart into, I could put my mind into, that made a difference in the world. And that's how it led me to coaching. And for coaching, I see how our society pushes all these images onto us that we feel like we need to fulfill, especially with social media. And I just want to tell y'all that you don't have to do all that. It's not healthy. It's not, if it's not making you happy inside, then why are you doing it? What are you trying to prove to other people? And just get the dialogue started around that and get you asking questions about it. It's huge. It's very impactful. With my coaching techniques, I just express the importance of your self-worth and your values and what you want and what's going to make you happy, because that's something that modeling taught me, is that it just, what other people think, really, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, you're going to be going to bed in your house that you have to get and wearing your hair and wearing this, that, and the other, and eating what you want. And if it doesn't absolutely fulfill you, then why are you doing it? That's how modeling has influenced my coaching philosophy when it comes to just embracing who you are, embracing your identity, creating the reality that you want. You're always gonna be happy if you're doing something that comes from your heart. Well, thanks so much for watching. I'm Coach Savannah Rose Johnson, Coach Savvy. Catch you next time. Bye.
Baby, little baby kitty. Kitty baby, what are you doing? Little baby.